Hello and welcome to my video on my computer graphics module. First of all, for the PBRT image, I made the scene in Blender. Then I imported the Blender add-on. Then I made all the PBRT materials for the models. And then I clicked render. Moving on to the rasterizer. The first thing that happens is the camera is set. And the world to camera matrix is worked out. Then all the lights are put into the world. Then the texture is imported, and the specular maps are also imported. Then the OBJs are converted into something understandable using the model class, which gets the vertices of the object, the texture chords of the object, and the face indices. And then the Z buffer is also set. This only happens once. Then all of this is put through the draw model function, which repeats for every face of the object, and converts the object toward space. Then this information is put into triangle render function, where it goes through several checks. The first one checks if the triangle is off screen. Then it checks to see if the triangle is too big. Then it works out the bounds of the triangle, and then works out the barycentric coordinates. And for every pixel in the triangle, it checks the Z buffer to see if there is already a pixel that has been placed closer. It then converts it to cam space, and then sets the specular color as a float, so it can be used later to work out the specular. Then for each light, the lighting is worked out, and the specular is also worked out. There are two types of lighting in the rasterizer: directional light and point light. And then this is all added together with the color of the pixel from the texture, and then it is drawn on the image. This is done to every single model, and when it's done, it's outputted as a TGA file. Moving on to the ray tracer, just like the RAS, it starts with setting up the camera. Then the textures are imported and used to make the shaders. There are two types of shaders that I am using. There's a textured Phong shader that is used for the turrets that I made, and there's also a textured Lambertian shader that I didn't make, that is used for everything else. The Phong shader takes in the texture image, the specular, and the shininess. The Lambert shader only has an input of the texture image. Then the scene is set up using the scene class, and then the models are added using the model class and then the scene class that was just set up. Then the lights are added, which there are two types: spotlight that I made and point light. Point light inputs location and intensity, and spotlight does the same, or adding light direction as well. The spotlight is worked in a cone, as you can see in the final image. This is done in these calculations. Then the scan lines are shuffled, and a ray is defined. Then for every pixel, the color is worked out using ray and everything that has been put into the scene. Then the color is set and drawn on the image. Then after it does that for every pixel, it then outputs it as a TGA file. This is the final result.